What if the greatest innovations didn't come from comfort, but from chaos? What if behind your favorite kitchen gadget, your Wi-Fi connection, even your quick-fix duct tape, there was a battlefield? Welcome back to Everyday Inventions, where every object tells a story. Some stories are warm, some are weird, and some are born in fire. Today we step into a paradox. War, the great destroyer, has also been a surprising inventor. Not out of peace, but pressure. Not by choice, but desperation. In the trenches, the labs, and the factories of wartime, inventors were forced to move fast, solve problems, save lives, win battles. And in doing so, they changed life far beyond the battlefield. Can food, the internet, duct tape, microwaves, these aren't just conveniences, they're artifacts of conflict. Because when survival is at stake, innovation isn't a luxury. It's a lifeline. So let's explore the strange, surprising ways war shaped the everyday world around us. How weapons turned into wellness. How signals became social networks. And how moments of crisis left behind tools we now couldn't imagine living without. In 1795, Napoleon Bonaparte faced a problem that no cannon could fix. He had conquered half of Europe, but feeding his soldiers across vast, sprawling battlefields? That was another war entirely. Spoiled meat, moldy bread, hungry troops, morale was crumbling faster than the enemy lines. So Napoleon did something visionary. He offered a cash reward to anyone who could invent a way to preserve food long-term. Enter Nicolas Appert, a French chef with no formal science training, just a sharp mind and a love for good meals. Instead of powders or preservatives, Appert turned to an old kitchen ally, heat. He began sealing cooked meals inside glass jars, then boiling them to kill bacteria, like a culinary time capsule. It worked. The food stayed fresh. The army marched. Glass eventually gave way to tin cans, thanks to English inventors who wanted sturdier transport. And just like that, rations turned into revolutions, culinary ones. Canned peas, canned peaches, soups, stews, spaghetti, what began on the battlefield ended up in every pantry. Today, we barely glance at a can of soup in the store aisle. But behind that simple metal container, a war, a reward, and one chef who helped change history, one jar at a time. Beyond the battlefield, can food transform disaster response, space travel, and even global trade? During the Great Depression, canned goods became lifelines in American households. During World War II, it was a symbol of home for soldiers overseas. And in the 1960s, astronauts took canned meals to space, linking Appert's humble jars to the stars. It wasn't just food anymore. It was preservation, safety, survival, sealed tight under pressure. World War II was a time of invention, born not in labs, but on factory floors. One of those floors belonged to Vesta Stout, a mother of two and a munitions packer in Illinois. Day after day, she sealed ammunition boxes with wax paper and fabric tape. But it wasn't holding. In the chaos of battle, soldiers struggled to open them quickly, risking lives and lost time. Now, most workers might have stayed silent. But not Vesta. She sat down and wrote a letter. Not to her manager, but straight to the top, President Franklin D. Roosevelt. She outlined the problem and pitched a solution, a new kind of tape. Waterproof, durable, easy to tear by hand. Her idea made its way to the War Production Board, and soon after, it was approved. The tape worked wonders. It sealed boxes, repaired gear, even patched bullet holes in Jeeps. Originally olive green for camouflage, it later turned silver and earned its nickname, duct tape. After the war, soldiers brought it home, and the rest is sticky history. From leaky pipes to cracked shoes, from dresses to spacecraft, duct tape became the go-to fixer for just about everything. There's even a saying, if it moves and it shouldn't, duct tape it. So yes, it started with war. But Vesta's invention ended up in every drawer, glove box, and garage. It's not just a roll of tape. It's a symbol of American ingenuity and maybe a little bit of stubbornness. Sure, it can't fix a broken heart, but it'll hold your bumper on until payday. And here's something else. Duct tape went to the moon. During the Apollo 13 crisis in 1970, Astronauts used it to patch a carbon dioxide filter and save their lives. The same role that once sealed bullets now patched oxygen systems in space. War gave us duct tape, but courage gave it purpose. World War I changed everything, especially medicine. On the battlefield, injuries came fast and brutal. Shrapnel, gunfire. Doctors raced against time, working in makeshift tents with dirt floors and dwindling supplies. But there was one constant truth: speed meant survival. And yet, when a soldier lost too much blood, there was little hope. Transfusions had to be done immediately, donor and patient, side by side. There was no way to store blood, no way to send it ahead to the front lines. Every minute mattered, and too many were lost. But wartime desperation sparked innovation. Doctors and scientists began experimenting, not with new medicine, but with temperature. They discovered that blood, when mixed with an anticoagulant and kept cool, could be preserved. In 1917, Canadian Dr. Lawrence Bruce Robertson pioneered the technique during battle. Soon, entire units were storing blood for days, even weeks. This wasn't just a breakthrough. It was the birth of the blood bank, a system where one person's donation could be transported, saved, and used to save another's life, sometimes half a world away. After the war, the system spread. Civilian hospitals adopted it. Campaigns began. Donate blood, save a life. That slogan? It's not a metaphor. It's exactly what happens. Today, blood banks are part of our everyday medical infrastructure. At high schools, churches, and sports arenas, people quietly give and never know whose life they may have changed. But it all started in muddy trenches, under enemy fire, with doctors fighting for every heartbeat. In the end, it wasn't just about blood. It was about building a lifeline, one pint at a time. In the thick of World War II, the Allies were racing to perfect radar, invisible waves that could detect enemy aircraft long before they arrived. It was high-stakes science, carried out in secret labs filled with buzzing equipment, blinking lights, and nervous energy. One day, engineer Percy Spencer, a self-taught genius with a knack for tinkering, was inspecting a magnetron, the vacuum tube at the heart of radar technology. As he leaned over the machine, something strange happened. He felt a warm, gooey sensation in his pocket. He reached in and found a melted chocolate bar. It wasn't the heat in the room. It wasn't his body temperature. It was the microwaves. Now, most people would have just wiped off the mess and moved on. But Spencer was curious. He grabbed a bag of corn kernels, set them next to the magnetron, and they popped. Then an egg, which promptly exploded in a colleague's face. Science is messy. Spencer had stumbled upon a brand new way to cook food, using electromagnetic waves to excite water molecules. Efficient. Weirdly space-age. By 1945, he had built the first radar oven. It was 6 feet tall and cost as much as a new car, but it worked. At first, it was used in restaurants and ships. Then, over the decades, it shrank, softened, and simplified, becoming a kitchen essential. What began as a fluke in a military lab now warms up leftovers and defrosts frozen lasagna in homes around the world. The microwave isn't just an appliance. It's a story of war, wonder, and one very unlucky candy bar. The microwave isn't just an appliance. It's a story of war, wonder, and one very unlucky candy bar. We shall proceed with the incident that brought about the Jeep from battlefield to driveway. Fast, rugged, and built like a tank in miniature, the Jeep wasn't just a vehicle. It was a wartime workhorse. In 1940, the US military needed a new kind of transport, something small, quick, and versatile enough to go where tanks couldn't and trucks wouldn't. The call went out to American automakers. The design brief? Nearly impossible, 4-wheel drive, under 2,200 pounds, and able to haul gear, soldiers, or stretchers, all in just 49 days. It was chaos, but it worked. The result was the Willis MB, boxy, tough, and shockingly capable. It didn't just drive. It climbed, crawled, swam through mud, and dropped from planes. It was nicknamed the GI's best friend and became a symbol of American grit. Generals rode in them. Medics used them as ambulances. Soldiers wrote love letters from their tailgates. And when the war ended, well, the Jeep came home too. Farmers saw a tool. Adventurers saw freedom. Soon, the military green paint was swapped for candy apple red and sky blue. And just like that, a combat vehicle became a family favorite, paving the way for today's SUVs and off-roaders. Modern Jeeps have Bluetooth, backup cams, and cup holders, but deep down, there's still that no-nonsense, go-anywhere machine. The Jeep didn't just survive the war. It reinvented what a car could do, from the battlefield to the backroads. To conclude this episode, the last invention to consider is the Internet, from Cold War to connection. In the tense shadows of the Cold War during the 1960s, the fear of a nuclear strike wasn't just about bombs, it was about communication breaking down. If military command centers could be wiped out in an instant, how could messages still get through? The answer came from a bold idea: build a network with no central point, a web of computers that could talk to each other even if parts of it were destroyed. This led to the creation of ARPANET, the great-grandfather of the Internet, a pioneering, decentralized data network funded by the US Department of Defense. Picture a room full of clunky terminals, blinking lights, and scientists tapping away, connecting just 4 computers in 1969. It was simple. It was revolutionary. Fast forward through decades of evolution, the addition of email, websites, search engines, and fiber optics, and that primitive military tool transformed into the global digital universe we live in today. And here you are, watching this video, streaming, sharing, and scrolling on a network that started as a safeguard against disaster. From nuclear paranoia to viral memes, the internet reminds us how something born out of fear can become a playground of connection, creativity, and yes, endless cat videos. The strange legacy of conflict. War brings pain, no doubt about it. But sometimes, in the chaos and struggle, progress quietly sneaks in. The inventions we rely on today often have roots in conflict, born out of necessity and pressure. But here's a question worth asking: can we invent without the battle? What if creativity could be sparked by joy, by curiosity, by play? Next time on Everyday Inventions, we'll dive into just that: ideas born from toys and games, inventions that started as fun but grew into tools shaping our world. So, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and join us. Because behind even the darkest histories, there's always a spark of something brighter, something playful, hopeful, and endlessly inspiring. See you in the next episode.